Welcome back to another edition of NFL Prop Picks and Anytime Touchdown Scores with Jacob Smith. This is week 5. Obviously, this is my third week doing this. Last 2 weeks, I was off. I was in Montreal 2 weeks ago with my girlfriend, had a blast up there. Super cool city, love to be up there. And then last week, we had the Mayflower Sports Open Golf Tournament. Huge success. Thanks to all the golfers that came out, all the donations that came in, all the sponsorships. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Me and Andrew had an awesome time putting that on. We had 100 golfers out there, prizes. Winning score was a minus, I think, 13. It went to a playoff hole. They had to replay hole 1 just before it got dark. Minus 12 was second place, obviously, with the playoff hole. There was some minus 9s. There were some really good scores, some really good shots. Pictures are up on Facebook and Instagram, so go check that out at Mayflower Sports. Shout out Noah Jones for coming out and taking those pictures for us. You can find him at the Rap and OJ podcast, super cool podcast, hip hop, R&B, rap, all things music related podcast. So you should go check them out. And my boy Quentin Parsons is on that too. So definitely go give them a shout, and shout out to Noah for helping us out with the golf tournament. But let's dive into week 5 here, and we'll get to the crux of the situation here. The last 2 weeks leading up to me going to Montreal, I was terrible. Not cashing bets, not really doing too well. You know, the prop bets are usually something that I pride myself on. I really like to cash those. I think they're fun. They kind of align with fantasy football. So if you don't really have like an invested interest in the team, you don't really like want to root for somebody. You could just root for a player or a couple players or whatever. So I always think the player props are fun. So even though I am starting out pretty slow, I'm still going to keep giving you guys these picks because it's something I like. It's something I like to do. So might as well just tell you guys what I'm thinking. And just before we dive into my 3 picks for the week, make sure you go check out Sports Interaction betting site in Canada. We have a free deposit bonus code with them. So it is a 125% bonus up to $100. You have to be 18 plus to gamble, so make sure you're of age if you're doing that. But a lot of good odds. They have these player prop picks that I'm talking about. Really good odds. It's a really easy site to deposit, withdraw on. www.sportsinteraction.com/Mayflower Sports for that free initial. Sorry, it has an initial deposit, so it's the first time you do this with the account that you get this bonus. So it's up to 125%, up to $100. So you get a free $125 if you deposit $100. So definitely check that out. That's where I've been doing my betting mostly recently. I just like the odds you get there, and I find it's just super easy. There's not too much to it. You don't have to like hassle to get your money off of there. I've had some experiences where some places feel like they can hold your money hostage for as long as they want, and they send it 3 months later after you've deposited and withdrew and all that stuff. So make sure you check out Sports Interaction. Super easy, reliable Canadian book, by the way. So make sure you check them out. But we'll dive into the picks here, and leading off, we're going to go with Terry McLaurin of the Washington football team, over 5.5 receptions. That's coming in at a minus 105 to minus 125. Some books don't have it out yet. Some books do. So this was one that it wasn't too hard to find, but there was a little varying in price. But I really like this pick this week. Terry's had 2 weeks of the 4 with over 5.5 catches, so 6 catches. One being an 11 catch week 2 weeks ago. Last week, coming off their game, he had 7 receptions. So I feel like Terry's trending in the right direction. I feel like the Washington football team is starting to understand that they got to get the ball to their best playmaker, and that's clearly him. Antonio Gibson was supposed to have a really big breakout year this year. He's been playing pretty well, but I just find with him, like, the running game's so hard to predict with Washington because you don't know the game script. You don't know whether they're going to be winning, losing, by how much. So the defense has been playing kind of well, but it's just one of those situations where I feel like I'm not too confident going with any touchdown scores. I feel like the Washington football team has kind of realized if they want to have some sort of success, they're going to have to target Terry a lot, and they've been doing that 2 out of the last 3 weeks. The New Orleans Saints Their secondary has been brutal. It's been one of the worst in the league. They have one of the worst passing defenses in the league. They're on the road. Washington's a tough place to play. Their defense gets after it. It puts pressure on the other team to score. And even though Taylor Heineke is the quarterback, I feel like he's shown that he's had a relationship and a rapport with Terry McLaurin that kind of doesn't make me scared. I think it makes me optimistic that like Heineke has his guy and it's the best player on the team on offense, in my opinion. So I feel like at minus 105, at minus 110, minus 125, minus 130, I feel like this is a really good play. And I feel like it's something we might not have to worry about. Obviously, the Saints defense can turn up at any point. We know what they were capable of last year. They were one of the best defenses in the league. And a lot of people thought, again, this year that they would come in and they would, have a similar impact. But this year it's been a little bit different. So I feel like Terry McLaurin over 5.5 receptions is a very, very good play this week. Hopefully it's a play that can turn around our luck. We know that I haven't had the best luck with, I'll say, the picks that I feel most confident in since we've started doing these, but this is a pick that I feel like is trending in the right direction. And we're going to start to see if the number is set at 5.5, a lot of places that I feel like it's a play that we have to get on until we see otherwise. But yeah, so moving on to my second pick here. This is Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals. They are facing the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm taking the over 284 and a half passing yards. That's coming in at minus 110 to minus 125. A lot of places, I'm not going to lie, it's been coming in at minus 115. Sports Interaction, likewise. I just kind of put this variant in because you never know with the lines. I don't want you guys to think it's coming in at minus 115 and then, it's dropped a little bit. It's minus 125 and you guys think I'm lying to you. But like we've talked about doing these picks on Friday, it makes it that the line is likely to move. It is going to move probably by Sunday, either one way or another, whether it might not be everybody, but for some people, especially, the people that like the bettors think that are going to cash. Like, so for this one, I think that 284 and a half yards is a really good play. San Francisco's secondary, again, super banged up, playing third and fourth string guys. Most of their team is dropping like flies recently. We know that they have the situation with the running backs. They're all hurt. And it must be something in the water or something. Like I guess the Eagles last year had quite a few injuries, but it's just like every year with the 49ers, they're always missing a couple key guys or a couple key guys at key positions. So for me, I think Kyler Murray is an easy play here this week. I'm pretty sure once this season he hasn't hit the over 284 and a half yards. I think that was last week against the Rams, whose defense hasn't performed up to par, but I would say in any game can offense look pretty average. They have the defensive talent to do that. So, and he threw 270 yards. So it wasn't like he was well below that mark. It was 14 yards. That could be one completion for a first down and a couple extra yards and he hits the over, right? So I feel like this week, Kyler Murray is a really safe play. Their offense is going bananas. Kyler spreading the ball all over. AJ Green looks good. D-Hop looks good. I've even really liked kind of Chase Edmonds this year, the way they've been using him. I thought that for the Cardinals, he could be a really valuable piece for them, and he's been pretty good this season. So it's just, and Rondell Moore, another rookie, I think he's been really good too. He's been a guy that I think maybe has been underlooked coming into the season. A lot of people were talking about a few different receivers that could break out and have a really big year, like someone like Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chaser, who all have pretty good seasons too. But I also think Rondell Moore has been an excellent addition to the Arizona Cardinals offense. It gives them much more of like a gadget type player. I know Christian Kirk was that for a while, but I think Moore just has a little bit more speed and he's a little bit more dynamic. And Kingsbury definitely likes to use him in a couple different ways. So for me, this is another, I think, really safe play. I think Kyler Murray definitely can hit the over 284. And I think it's almost a no-brainer. And I know, like I've said the last couple of times I've said that we haven't cashed those. They haven't looked too good. But I feel like with the 2 weeks off here, hopefully we got some good karma going our way. We got some, we did a little bit more research this week than I have been in the last 2 weeks, obviously, with the disgusting start that we had. But moving on to my third and final pick here. And this is going to be one that I'm confident in, but not like uber confident. I think it's more the price that you can find it at. If you can find it closer to that 160, where I've seen it on places like where was that? I want to say it was like Betway or somewhere like that. But I like to give you guys a wide range of the betting odds, because I know you guys aren't all betting on Sports Interaction. You're all not betting on Cool Bet or Betway or whatever. So I want you to know that across a couple different books, you can find different prices. And this week, the Atlanta Falcons are flying to London to play the New York Jets, and that's going to be an early kickoff for us. That's going to be a 10:30 a.m. kickoff for the Atlantic coast. Um, this game could be a very, very unpredictable one. And that's why I said I was confident, but I wasn't sure how confident. Calvin Ridley's not making the trip, obviously, over to London. We know Matt Ryan has absolutely, I think, resurrected Cordell Patterson's career. Cordell Patterson's looking like one of the best receiving running backs in history, even though many of us know that watch football, he started out as a wide receiver, but he's deployed a lot more as a running back now and a catching out of the backfield running back. So for me, I think he's a really safe bet too. I have him in fantasy, and that's kind of why I didn't take him here, is because I also have Terry McLaurin in fantasy, and I didn't want to load up on too many guys that I have in fantasy. That's just a bad way to lose bets. You're just creating that bad karma for yourself. You're doubling down. But that's why I kind of like Kyle Pitts this week. I think the Jets defense, it's okay. It's nothing to like go home about, but it's also like not terrible. We know going over to those London games, they can be either, pretty good games, or they can be pretty awful games. It just depends on how the players get there, what the mood is, like the jet lag, the accommodations, just everything that goes on with flying to another continent to play a football game. So I think Kyle Pitts could have a really nice day. I know his over under for catches is coming in at 5.5. I think that could be another look. I think his yards were coming in at 60.5 at most places. So I think that could be another look. Without Calvin Ridley, I think that there has to be someone that steps up. Russell Gage was good last year, but I don't think he's that guy. I think the Jets are really going to key in on Patterson. I don't think they want to have him score 3 touchdowns on them like he did last week. I think a lot of people found that funny. I had him in fantasy. I found it absolutely hilarious that guy just came out of nowhere with 3 touchdowns and single-handedly just kind of just, I don't know, he just came out of nowhere. He just resurrected himself. The last 3 weeks, he's been, like I was saying to the boys, I have a stacked fantasy team. And like at this point, it's almost like I can't not play Cordell Patterson. I haven't played him yet since I picked him up in week 2, but it's like he's been playing so well the last couple weeks in his role that he's almost unplayable. And I feel like the Jets are really going to try to key in on him and try to make sure that him and Matt Ryan don't kind of beat them, and the linebackers might be a little bit more focused in the backfield when Patterson's on the field. And I think that might leave a little bit more room for Pitts, especially in the red zone on the play actions or the bootlegs, to kind of get open and use some of that athleticism to beat the linebackers who might have their eyes too long into the backfield, like looking for Patterson to see if they're handing the ball off, or it's a play action him, what type of route he's running. Obviously, it's the NFL. Everybody has their assignments. They're the best of the best, and not every assignment's going to be a blown assignment. But I feel like Pitts, you could really take advantage of him here this week, especially if you can get him at a nice price, like plus 160. He hasn't really shown too much to me. Like, I don't want to say he's been a bust. Obviously, he's a wide receiver, I think, playing tight end. He doesn't really have the physique yet of a tight end, and specifically a tight end that's able to block very well. So I feel like that's kind of hindered him a little bit. But against the Jets defense, I think it's like ranked like in like the mid 20s or like the low 20s for just total defense and pass defense. So I feel like this could be a really nice play this week. It's over in London, the unexpected guys like Pitts, young guy, getting over there, amped up to go play. I feel like we could definitely take advantage of that. We know the Falcons like to throw the ball. Mike Davis isn't it running the ball. Cordell Patterson, I think the most carries he's had through the 4 weeks has been like 6 or 7. So he's obviously not too much of a running threat. So that makes me believe that the Falcons are going to go over there and do what they always do, which is throw the ball. And without Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage being a little bit of an underperformer this season, I think that leaves most of the targets for Kyle Pitts. I think that leaves most of the red zone targets for Kyle Pitts. And I think it's just a good price to take advantage of. So that's it for me. This is week 3 well, I guess this is week 3 for me. Week 5 of the NFL prop picks. Yeah, hopefully we have a better week, man. I put a little bit more research. I'm not saying I didn't research the ones before, but I put a little bit extra research into these picks this week. I went with players that I really liked the matchups, and I liked the game logs leading up to that specific matchup. So like for Terry McLaurin, like 2 of the last 3 weeks, he's seen double-digit targets and he's had 11 and 7 receptions. So for me, I feel like that's a safe play against a defense who clearly struggles against the pass. Kyler Murray, 3 out of the 4 times this season he's played, he's hit over 284.5 yards. Another defense with a bunch of injuries, underperforming. They can still get after the QB, but that's the beautiful thing about picking Kyler Murray in this situation is he's so mobile and he can get out of the pocket and extend plays and throw the ball down the field and pick up some of those extra yards that necessarily maybe a pocket passer couldn't pick up. And then Kyle Pitts. I just like the opportunity this week with the game, it being in a different place. He's a younger guy, so he's going to be a little bit more jazzed up for an experience like this. I know a lot of players and a lot of people have never been over to Europe. So to go over and play in front of a stadium that, seats like 40, 50, 60,000 people, I think that's a cool experience for a young guy, a team that doesn't have their number one wide receiver, the proven commodity in Calvin Ridley, and basically a running back / wide receiver and Cordell Patterson that they're going to have to rely on to get the job done. And it just makes so much sense that Kyle Pitts is going to have to step up and, put the ball in the end zone if the Atlanta Falcons want to have a chance to win. And we know from their game script that they like to throw the ball, whether they're winning or losing. So I feel like all the way up until the last minute, the last second of the game, we have a chance to cash this one and at a really good price. So again, those are my picks for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check us out at Instagram, Mayflower Sports, Twitter, Sports Mayflower. Check us out on Facebook. Again, we have over 100 pictures up there. The Mayflower Sports Open Golf Tournament, which was an awesome time. Really, 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 really cool experience for us. And I hope to keep bringing you guys, well, not keep bringing you guys winners because I really haven't brought you guys many winners, but hopefully starting to bring you guys winners and we change this around. This is Jacob Smith from NFL Player Prop Picks and Anytime Touchdown Scorers. And until next week, have a good one.